Welcome back to the Irish Mags Show. It is episode 90, a milestone of sorts. We are officially 90 years old, and that probably explains how we all feel after this summer and this transfer window. A gag I've already used on episode 89, 88, 87, 85. My name is Paul. I'll be your host for today, and I am, of course, joined by the man, the myth that is Chris O'Martin. How are you, Chris? How are you doing?
Good, very good. Very good now, but we'll talk about it, but very good now.
There is a lot to talk about, and I'm quite glad we waited to Thursday this week to record, because it's been a Thursday, hasn't it, Alan Williamson? How are you doing?
Absolutely has. I'm doing well. How are you, lads? What a day. What a day.
This has definitely been one of the better days of Newcastle United summer, and there's been a lot of shit ones, a few good ones, but today was definitely a good one and a busy one. And we have loads to talk about. We're going to have a chat about the Champions League draw. We don't yet know the dates of said fixtures, but we do know our opponents. That information came to us literally in the last few hours. So we're going to be giving our fresh reaction on that. There's also some breaking transfer news. And dare I say it, an Italian man with a here we go on X talking about Newcastle United. So we're going to talk in depth about that. Before we get there, though, lads, let's just get it out of the way. Let's rip off the Band-Aid. Just a few days ago, which feels like a while ago probably at this stage, the way the week is gone, Newcastle United 2, Liverpool Wankers 3. Krisho, just to kick off, like, what a fucking game. Just as a game, even if you were a neutral, and I've spoken to quite a few neutrals in the last few days, like, people are already like, game of the season. It's game week 2. Like,
yeah. Look at listen, and Al can do all the bad shoots for Newcastle and everything else. I'll go slightly different, right? I don't want to be like the Irish national team to have the greatest fans but don't win anything. Yeah, I just don't want it. And all the passion we put in, we got 0 points. We lost. All right, let's cut the shit. We lost, right? But wait, Al, you can do all the nice stuff. It's just Anthony Gordon has done it again. All right, and he's done it again, and it's absolutely ridiculous. Sending that thing out on Twitter where he apologized and sorry about this and sorry about that. Look, it was a straight up red card. It was a striker's tackle. I was out with Al down the Bleecker Street, right crack with everybody. It was clearly a striker's tackle. I think he probably could have got a yellow, but look, when it's slowed down like that, it's a clear red, right? But let me just focus very clearly here. We definitely should have been winning by the time Liverpool scored their first goal. There's no doubt about it. And if we had a recognised striker, I don't care who it is, bring Shola Amiobi back, we would have been 2-0 up by that stage. But look, it's just really sick. Because we all know so many Liverpool fans. It's sick. I got a text message saying, we don't even need Isaac to beat us. And I thought, I'm going to bed. I can't listen to this. I'm sick. I'm sick. But look, I'll take the, don't get me wrong, the guy's guts, glory, love it. The fans were fantastic. But look, I'm getting to the stage now where Newcastle are a big club. We need to win big games. But yeah, very, very disheartening, Paul. Disgusting. Guinness turned sour. And I can't believe Liverpool got another 11 minutes. I just can't believe it. Same as with
Alan, first of all, did you make a famed return back to the Bleecker Street bar for the Liverpool game?
I did indeed. I was allowed out on Monday night. Sorry. It was great to get back. But what a game to get back for. I thought, look, yes, should have been one or arguably 2-0 up before we went down to 10 men. Or before we went down 1-0. Listen, it was one of those games. Gravenberch's shot took a massive deflection. It was a bit of an odd one. We never looked like we were under pressure, bar when they scored their goals. And to say that Liverpool, who are the champions of England and are looking to do it again next season, for them to have fight so hard to beat us when we're down to 10 men, I'm looking at it as a good result. Yes, you said Gordon didn't cover himself in glory. It was absolutely a striker's tackle, but it was one of the ones where he was just trying so hard to get Newcastle back into the game that he threw himself into a tackle, and it wasn't a terrible tackle. He just kind of slipped into Van Dijk, and Van Dijk made a meal of it, and as I would too, as anyone would want you to do. It is what it is. But as you said, the 11 minutes happened. We were pressing. It looked like we were going to be the ones to get the winner. But fucking always Liverpool. It's always Liverpool that they just somehow manage to find it. That's, as one of my mates said, the mark of champions is playing badly and winning games. And it is. It's something Newcastle will have to learn. But I am not disappointed in how we played. If you had said to me before the game, you're going to go down to 10 men, you're going to fight your way back from being pretty much dead and buried, you're going to give one of the best performances you'll see in a losing side, you'll have Liverpool pundits saying we were arguably unlucky not to win the game, every single one of us would have taken that. And that's the way we have to look at it. You don't look at results, you look at the performance, and the performance was there. So I'm quite happy with how it went. Obviously, the result is massive. I'm very disappointed we didn't get anything out of it. But performance-wise, if we played like that every single game this season, you win 9 weeks out of 10. That's the way you have to look at that.
Yeah, I think it's fair, to be honest. I think the big thing as well, and we're not going to talk too long about the game. The game is a few days ago. There's far more exciting things to talk about. And I'm sure most people have gotten over it. But I'm just kind of looking at it. Look, Anthony Gordon made a complete balls of it. For sure, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
Even the fact that he led with his left foot and not his right foot makes no sense when the ball was to his right, because Van Dijk was emerging with the ball or about to give it away. So it was just stupid. At the point it happened, I actually thought there was nothing in it, and I was shouting. But having watched it back, it was 100% the right card. It was fucking stupid.
He
needs to get rid of that.
Yeah, side tackle you do on a mate that you don't like on the beach when you're young lad. Like just gone straight in and just try to hit his ankle. It was one of those ones where people go, "Oof, Jesus!" And when they slowed it down on the big screen in the bleachers, we were all looking at it going, "Oh, that's going to be a red, isn't it?" The more they slowed it down, the uglier it looked. Now, some people say, "Isn't Van Dijk great? He didn't make a big deal of it." Well, hang on. I think he did.
But he doesn't need to. Like, he doesn't need to make a big deal because VAR is there. Do you know what I mean? It's even more silly because of like Anthony Gordon not only should know not to do it, but should know that it'll get looked at again and again, even if the ref doesn't give it. Those days are gone. So it's just clean fucking stupid. But like that's all you can say about it.
He needs to grow up.
Just honest. If the Gordon tackles a red card, the Gravenberch tackles a red card.
Yes, I agree with that. The Gravenberch tackle is shocking. It's not as dangerous optically as in it's not like you don't cringe when you look at it, but equally it's a shy challenge that could have gone anywhere, could have done anything, and I don't understand it. And similarly with the Kanate wrapping his hands around, was it Joe Linton? How a penalty isn't given in that either.
And how when it was
Barnes going through.
Was Szoboszlai did he hit Tonali in the face?
Yeah, there's loads of things. So this is just Simon Hooper, but again, I don't want to dwell on it, lads, because it's happened, it's done, and as I said, we're all looking forward, and I'm sure everyone's over it. But the thing I'm looking at this is in terms of context for the season, considering all the shit that's been going on at the club, all the drama, all the Isaac, all the transfer nonsense. We've come into it and started against the league champions with one new player, knowing that's not enough, and not having a striker up front. The way we played against Liverpool until they scored a goal and then fucking red card happens. And the way we played against Villa, particularly the way we started both games, is extremely promising. Like it's massive for me. I think that's what we need to focus on going forward. We've got Leeds at the weekend, which we're going to talk about at the end of the show. There's a lot of positives. And for me, fuck Isaac out the back. Every other player is playing for the shirt. It's showing they want to be at Newcastle. It's playing together. And the one thing I want to finish on, Krisho, I think with confidence, I will say that was the best game I've ever seen Bruno Guimaraes play for Newcastle United.
It was up there. It was definitely up there. That was Gary Speed-esque captaincy kind of stuff. That's dragging the team from basically being ever so slightly dejected and kind of thinking, looks out here. This guy, if he could have literally picked the ball up and ran it through the net into the Gallowgate and then down the road, he would have. He was like a literal mad dog. There's no other way I could describe it. He was everywhere. He was frothing at the mouth, essentially. And his goal, you'd never really see Bruno Guimaraes scoring a goal like that. He just lobbed his whole soul at the ball, like just to drag it into the net. My God, I've never been so proud of a captain in a very long time. Like I said, Gary Speed times, where I really thought, my God, this guy bleeds black and white. He really does. Don't worry about all this Isaac talk and everything else. We need players, like Eddie Howe said, that want to play for this city and want to play for this club. And Bruno's performance was absolutely outstanding. Look at really quick. That goal by Ekitike, and I will say, if you watch the highlights, Ekitike is a little rat. He's a little scummy rat. That's what he is, going around starting on Tonali, starting on Jolinton, starting on this. You think, I don't want him. There's no wonder we didn't want him anyway. Give him to Liverpool. He deserves to be there. But giving a goal about after
absolutely not. Hang on. I'm stopping you there. Absolutely not. If he was playing for Newcastle doing that, we'd be absolutely blowing that through that he's the best player.
I know, but not now. Not now.
Yes, absolutely.
But look at giving up a goal. What 17 seconds in or 20 seconds into the first half?
It's poor, very poor.
That's weird, isn't it? Like, I mean, Eddie Howe usually has them set up. It's like as if they weren't even ready for the kickoff. But look, they didn't let us down. It was very dejecting at the end of the game. Like Al said, we didn't get our usual photograph. We just thought we're like, you could see some of the lads' faces were actually pale. They were thinking, I can't believe this literally happened. I needed a sag paneer on the way home. Do you know what I mean? I was like, I'm going to the Indian. I feel terrible.
Yeah, it's again, and it's why is it always Liverpool? Why is it always Liverpool?
Well, look, I think the big picture here is, even though the headlines are going to go on about a 16, 17-year-old lad scoring a winning goal, which was kind of an open goal, even though he took a fair play to him. It was against a 10-man team that had been on top for about 20 minutes, that were trying to beat them with 10 men, that had them kind of backs to the walls for all that time. And by the time they got that goal, we were completely stretched because we were trying to win the game, and suddenly we were a man down in the box. It happens. But ultimately, you know, like Christo said, the spirit, the fight, the character, this is what Newcastle United is. Forget about missing targets and transfer windows. Forget about players that don't want to play for the club. The players went out and showed what it is to play for Newcastle United. And that's what we want to see more of, which might lead us on to some more topics very, very shortly, because there may be other players who also want to play for Newcastle United, from what we're hearing today. But we'll come back to that shortly.
But Tony Cruz, did you see Tony Cruz's stuff? What are you saying? Like, he loves Newcastle and he's going to sign up for a membership? He's going to sign up for a membership? Yeah. Get him on the pod. Tony Cruz.
I saw someone's response going, wait till he tries to get a ticket in the ballot, then he's going to know all about being a fucking Newcastle United. Sorry, Tony. Better luck next time. Right, lads, we'll move on. Speaking of Germany, because Germany potentially might be one of the locations that we will be visiting on our holiday this season. Because, folks, if somehow you missed it, I'm opening it here on my phone because my phone has since locked since we pressed record. The Champions League stage, group draw, whatever you want to call it, took place today in Monaco, I believe. Zlatan was there, Kaka was there. They're all having a great time.
Hang on, before you start.
Yes,
what a weird video at the start of that with Zlatan getting it. Like, what the hell was that?
It's just I prefer not to speak.
Yeah, fucking weird.
I mean, even when Zlatan was asked about PSG, and he's like, "Yeah, well, I was there at the beginning. I was the architect," and he was like, everyone was laughing, and he just had this serious face on. You're like, does he actually? He might actually think that this is true. Like, he mightn't be joking. He loves himself. That man loves himself. But we've had the draw, Alan, which is, look, it's PSG again. We'll start off with that, right? I'm going to call out the draw, but to start off, PSG were one of the first ones we've been drawn against. That will be away from home in Paris. We all know what happened last time in Paris. What is it with the French and handballs? We just don't go well in those things. So we have a bit of revenge to get in Paris. So I'll call out the teams, and then, lads, we're going to go around. I'm going to give you kind of 4 each. To talk about what are your thoughts, and then we're going to talk about where do we want to go on our Irish Mags holidays. So the draw in full, we don't know the dates. That will be out on Saturday the 30th, roughly about 4 p.m. we think is when we'll find out when those fixtures take place. That's when you want to be on your Aer Linguses and your Ryanairs, folks.
Well, no, just really quickly, Paul, I think I was saying, I think it was an idea, maybe just so the lads and everybody listening knows, is that there will be groups per game so that people can line up what flights they're getting and everybody can go collectively together. So don't worry, anybody, you won't be getting the two of you going over on one flight and 8 of us going over on another flight. Wherever we're going, we'll all try and collectively all go together.
And I'm sure there'll be people, like same as last time, there'll be people going to all the different kind of away ones, you know. So to call out in full, just so everyone knows, so we have PSG away in Paris. We have Barcelona coming to St. James's Park with that lovely high line. I can't wait to see that. Then Leverkusen away in Germany. Interesting. Back to Germany. We may go Benfica at home, which is an interesting tie because you never really know what you're going to get from Benfica as a club, especially in Europe. Marseille away for the braver souls who like to travel when trouble may be afoot.
With your stat bet.
Yeah, I would recommend traveling in numbers for that one. We have PSV Eindhoven at home. It's James Park. Union Saint-Gilloise of Belgium away, which we believe is in Brussels. Interesting fact there, I think it's their sporting director or technical director is Irish, and he's from Limerick. Bet you didn't know that. Or at least he was, unless he's gone.
Give him a shout,
as of about 6 months ago, he was there. We'll get him on the pod. And then finally, we have a friend of the club, Athletic Club de Bilbao, coming back to St. James's Park, and they've been here before. So PSG, Barcelona, Leverkusen, Benfica, Marseille, PSV, Union Saint-Gilloise, and Athletic Club. Alan, just first question before we go into each team. I think this is a tough draw. When you look at some of the other sides that could have been gotten, there's a lot of good teams in here.
There are a lot of good teams in here, but it could have been a hell of a lot worse. It could have been really, really bad. And I'm looking at it, and there's two teams that you're looking and going, look, we will be up against it, and that's Barcelona and PSG. After that, we give Benfica a game, we give Leverkusen a game. I'd be disappointed if we didn't beat PSV at home. Disappointed if we don't get a result, at least. Athletic Club would be a tough game, but we're at home. We need to make the home games count. If we don't lose at home and pick up a win at Union and hopefully don't lose in Marseille, I think that's enough to get us through. So that's the way I'm looking at get through, get the money, and then build for next year. We're not going to win the Champions League, not unless it's absolutely mental season. Like, we'd all love it and all that jazz, but get through. That's all we want. Get through, and then we can worry about it all. Get the results and get through. That draw could have been a hell of a lot worse, so I'm happy with it.
It could have been worse, and I think you're right about the home games. Like, if I'm just looking at the teams, or if these are all neutral fixtures in a weird world, I would say these are all teams that aren't far off our level. Benfica, Marseille, PSV, Athletic Bilbao, like Leverkusen, they're all, if not at our level, they're above our level. Do you know what I mean? And it's only on paper you'd say Union Saint-Gilloise that are the considerably weaker team than Newcastle. And considering, Slavia Prague were in there, and Karabag were in there, and Almaty were in there, and Bodo Glimt, and no disrespect to those teams, but much smaller teams you'd expect to beat more comfortably. We haven't got too many small teams in our group. But Krisho, for you, what would be considering the home and away kind of permutations and all that, before we talk about traveling, for you, what would be the two kind of standout games for you, the two standout fixtures that you'd be looking at in terms of how important they are and how big the occasion will be?
I think that the two that will really be incredibly against the top two teams that we've just been drawn against is Barcelona at home and Paris Saint-Germain away. We'll have a point to prove with the Paris Saint-Germain away game because as we all know, I would love to say broad daylight, but it was nighttime. We got robbed, broad daylight, robbery there in Paris Saint-Germain. And I think we can give them a good game again because they don't like the way we play. Clearly, the Barcelona at home is a broadcasting rights dream game. The amount of highlights that they'll show of Esprit hat-trick, it'll be ad nauseum for a week. The buzz in the city. And to be frank with you lads, I was going to say to you, we definitely should all go over to the Barcelona game, whether we get a ticket or not, because Newcastle, the town will be insane. Every pub will be packed. It'll be a festival atmosphere. So those two games, one for the footballing, one for the celebration. I don't know how we'll do against Barcelona at home, but I'd like to think that we'd give them a good game, and maybe we could nick a win. I'll say it here: we could nick a win against Barcelona. Depends on what Barcelona turns up, or if Lewandowski has a sore ankle. But let's see. But the rest of them, I'm very, very excited about all of the games. Frankly, like Benfica coming, I wouldn't go anywhere near the Marseille game. I might even close my eyes when that's on. It's great to have our friends from Bilbao over again. Like Al said, it's good to have them at home. I think that's a winnable game. And then I hope the Union Saint-Gilloise, or I don't know how you pronounced it, game is last, because I'd love for that to be an ultimate Irish Mags game, because there's only 9,000 capacity in their stadium. There'd probably be about 900 of us going. So that'd be 10% of the stadium already. And it'd be great to just be over in a smaller place, getting to know their fans and hanging out. I'm sure there wouldn't be any trouble, and we could get a good solid win. So yeah, Barcelona, Paris Saint-Germain, but incredibly exciting draw, big time.
Yeah,
Amazing.
it is. Absolutely. It's massive. And like, just the thoughts. I mean, you know, we watched Tito Livramento basically pocket Mo Salah for 100 odd minutes at the weekend. We've seen Lewis Hall do the same. Lamine Yamal, lads. Lamine Yamal coming up, probably against Lewis Hall, hopefully. You'd actually hope so as well. And it'd be interesting to see how they handle him, because you're looking at arguably one of, if not the best player in the world at the moment, even though the kid is fucking 17, which is insane.
It's just
Alan.
his audition. It's just his audition for when we sign him in a couple of seasons. Like, that's all this is.
Oh, well, look, gents, just really quickly, and I know everybody will be interested to know, but there is a hospitality package available on the Newcastle website for the 4 home games, and you can get into the Leeza stand, or you can get into the Milburn stand. The Milburn stand is between £1,400 and £1,800 for the 4 games, and the Leeza stand is $1,400 to $1,900. Just so you know, so there is hospitality packages available. There's 96 in the Leeza stand, and there's 25 seats available in the Milburn stand. So if you have a cool 14 to 1,500 quid knocking about, you can buy 4 tickets for the home game.
I can guarantee you they're probably all gone right now.
That's right. That is right now.
Right now, is it?
I've just clicked on it and it's available.
I'll give it to 10 o'clock tonight.
£1,794.
If you are in need of a loan to travel to Newcastle, please contact Christian Martin, who will be giving out loans at a very high interest rate, mostly in red wine. Alan, for you then, Christian's obviously jumped in and just stolen the 2 big games. As we said, Barcelona coming to St. James's Park. Like, as much as we'd love to go to it mightn't be even the Camp Nou yet, because I know they're doing a new one, and we all want to go to the Bernabeu, but having Barcelona come to St. James's Park, like, it's a long time since they were there, and it's going to be a long time since they'll feel that atmosphere. As we saw last week, big clubs do not handle the St. James's Park hostile atmosphere too well. But for you, what other kind of 2 fixtures stand out for you then, as I said, in terms of importance and in terms of the occasion?
The Leverkusen game away is going to be a big game for us, because it's going to be one of them where it's 2 sides. I don't want to say level on par, like size-wise, but like we'd look at each other and say, we're not a million miles apart. So if we could get over there, pull a result, that'd be massive. And then the PSV game I'm looking at is going to be a big one, because that's home. It's going to be a tough game, but it'll be one where we're going to have to get a result. And PSV aren't a bad side. It's going to be weird. They have that striker, Ricardo Pepi. He is very, very good. So it's going to be, I'm looking forward to every single, it was like this the last time. Everyone was like, I want to winnable game. I wanted the worst draw possible, and I got it. I'm delighted. And I'm looking at this and I'm going, this could have been a lot worse, but I'm absolutely delighted with it, because we're playing teams we've a bit of history, and we're playing teams we've never played before that we could get results against. So it's a perfect mix in my eyes. Looking forward to the whole thing. I just can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I think initially when Marseille came out, and I was like, oh no, France twice, really? But from, like, I suppose when you think about it, they're both away. From an accessibility point of view, especially for us going from Ireland, like, that's quite doable to get there from Ireland and from Irish airports. So in one sense, it might actually give people a bit more chance to go and visit an away game. I've not done an away game for the Champions League in Newcastle. I didn't get to go last time around. And I do like the idea of going to Brussels, because, you know, Brussels, Krisha, you'll know this, Brussels famous for beer. They have lots of it. They won't have much left by the time we get there and come back. I can tell you that.
We will drink it dry, Paul.
Absolutely.
Honestly,
They have a few Irish bars as well.
Al's in a different situation, you know, in his life at the present moment, so he might not, or maybe join us. I don't know, but he's a big adult boy now. We're just wee Pinocchio boys. But yep. Brussels small. There's not much in Brussels. It's kind of a political kind of capital of Europe. It's very kind of grey and boring, and, you know, weird buildings knocking about in a couple of parks. But the beer is sensational if you like white beer or Weiss beer, and it's not exactly expensive. So we could have the crack almighty. I'm not sure. I'm sure there's a couple of local bars around that Tinky Winky Stadium. I think St. Pat's Athletic have a bigger stadium. It looks like it anyway. If you look up the pictures of their stadium, my God, I mean, there's grass growing on the standing bits, and it's going to be interesting to get there. But I look forward. I think Brussels and Leverkusen. I don't know about you guys, but I think Brussels and Leverkusen would be the trips to go away on.
They do stand out. In fairness, they do stand out. Tough fixtures, I think, all around. What would be interesting, and we don't know yet. We'll have to wait until Saturday. Is where these games are going to slot in. Are we likely to have PSG away in between fucking Man City and fucking Chelsea or something? Like that. That also comes into this.
I've just noted, Paul. Sorry, that's the 11th F and Jeff that you've done since we started the podcast. So just letting you know that you've got 3 more left before you get fined €50.
€50. Mm-hmm. How much of a seat in the corporate section of the Millburn will €50 get me?
It'll get you a little plastic bit.
It'll get me a toe. It'll get me a toe in the door. Okay, I shall try not to. But yes, we'll know more on Saturday in terms of when those fixtures are happening. And as we said, keep an eye on all the Irish Mags groups. We will start to put plans together, start to put groups together, looking at flights, looking at travel arrangements, because there's some big trips coming. And what we know at the very least, we have 4 trips away and 8 fixtures in total in the Champions League. And that is 8 more Champions League fixtures than Manchester United have. Not to mention they're already out of the FA Cup because they lost to Grimsby on penalties.
Honestly, did you see Bayer Leverkusen's Twitter? They put up really hoping that we don't get Grimsby in the draw. Absolutely class. It was so class.
It's such banter. Honest to God. Man United, thank you very much for being an absolute banter club. We appreciate you keeping us all entertained.
Just real quick as well, can we just say that Sesko didn't look great? Does he have it on a rainy Tuesday in Grimsby? No, he doesn't have it on a rainy night in Grimsby. No. He didn't look great. He really looked a bit sloppy, I'll be honest with you. That's what I'm worried about. So the thing we're going to talk about now in a minute is possibly our new number 9 or Wilson.
Well, it's a very good segue, Chris. I was going to do the exact same thing because yes, Sesko did not look great, and there's no evidence to say that he can do it on a rainy night, on a rainy Wednesday night in England, wherever he may go. Here's a question, Alan Williamson. It would appear at the time of recording, about 2 hours before he hit the big red button, we had a tweet. We had 2 tweets probably in quick succession from Fabrizio Romano, among others, to say that Newcastle had agreed a bid for Nick Voltemade, and that is my official pronunciation for Nick Voltemade, German striker from Stuttgart. There's different fees going around. Keith Downey seems to be making the most sense with a 65 million pound. Romano saying it's 80 million in euros. There's add-ons all around the place. Either way, whatever way we look at this is a massive signing. It's a huge fee. But the reason for me that this is massive is because all summer on a lot of the podcasts I listen to, particularly after was it the under-21s that were on?
The Euros, yeah.
For when he played for Germany, he was unplayable. Now, he was about 22 or 23 playing it, and he literally dwarfs everyone in that competition. No defenders could mark him, particularly at his own age group. But all summer, it was Bayern. He's going to Bayern. He's the ultimate successor for Harry Kane. Bayern. And out of nowhere, and we said this all summer, Alan, we wanted a signing. Now, the circumstances aren't great, Isak Schmizak, but we wanted a signing that kind of came out of nowhere. For me, this is it. I heard one mention of it a few weeks ago amongst every other striker's name in Europe. This kind of has come out of nowhere, but I think we can kind of take it to be true that Newcastle United are signing Nick Voltemade from VfB Stuttgart. And maybe, just maybe, he might be our new number 9 in terms of that empty number 9 jersey.
Yeah, it looks like it's happening. We've got the here we go from Fabrizio already, which is looking really, really good. And that's kind of how we all gauge if transfers are going to happen. Now, we have gotten a few that have disappeared, but this one looks like it's going to happen. And yeah, Tonali vibes off it, if you know what I mean, where nobody talked about it and then all of a sudden it was done, which is exactly how we wanted Newcastle to be doing their business. Because as we've seen, when we get drawn into long battles for players, agents start offering them around. It looks like we've just gone in and said, how much? There you go. See you later. And we've got it done. As you said, in the under-21s Euros, he looked unplayable. I think he got player of the tournament. Mm-hmm. Oh, no, sorry. Harvey Elliott did because they beat Germany, but he was touted if they had won. It was a playoff between them. But this kid looks good. What more can you say? He's a big 6'6" German striker who has the ability to play with his feet as well. So he looks like he's everything that we need, and Eddie Howe is going to turn him into an elite striker, hopefully.
Look, the footwork thing. Anybody listen to us, Paul? If you haven't seen it, go onto YouTube. He has some sexy footwork going on for a 6'6" dude. He's able to, like, he kind of Zlatan nearly, the way he knocks it between them and gets around people. It's quite silky. Now he does move a little bit slow, like an ice cream truck, but he's a big fella. I'm sure a lot of people are a little bit concerned that the Premier League will be a little bit too intense for him. He'll get knocked about a bit. I don't see a 6'6" monster like him getting knocked about a bit with his porn star mustache. I don't see that happening. I don't see anybody knocking him about. In fact, I'm going to say now, if we do sign him, which it looks like we will, we're going to see a lot more porn star mustaches on Newcastle when we go over. Paul, and I'm looking at you. I'd like you to get one ready for January when we're going into the quarterfinal of the Champions League. We'll dye it blonde. I'll even try to grow a mustache, even though it takes about 6 years. But look at this guy. I think the way it looks to me is that, look, are we going to pay 65 million for Larson, or will you just go out the door there, get on the flight, knock over, get this Wolf and what's his name?
Voltemade
guy. Look, there was 3 bids turned down from Bayern Munich, right? And I don't think it was 65, 70 million pounds. No way it was that they were going to offer for him, but. Look, I just like the fact that he wanted to come. It got done quickly. Stuttgart seemed to be very happy with the price. And by all accounts, and I'm led to believe, gentlemen, that he's having his medical tomorrow morning, or a little bit of it tonight, and then the medical tomorrow morning. So we might even have a sexy new Adidas number 9 striker video going about by lunchtime or 2 o'clock tomorrow. It
takes us 6 business days to announce a signing. They can play their first match and then we'll get the video. That's what will happen there.
We barely got a tweet out about Matt Target going to Middlesbrough. I don't know how we're going to manage this.
But I'm excited. I'm really excited. This guy scored 12 goals? I think it was 12 goals. He scored, or 14 goals. I'm not sure. Last in the Bundesliga, the goals that I saw that he scored, I thought were very, very impressive. And we've got ourselves another mini basketball team. Once we get the throw-ins or corners, I'd like to see anybody defend a 6'6" monster. So very excited.
I mean, I've seen bits of him, genuinely bits of him. It's because I would have looked it up. Particularly, I heard a couple of podcasts about him over the summer after those Euros. But it's that physical presence that really stands out. But again, particularly in the international tournament, that's against players of his own age. The thing to watch out for here, I want to point out 2 things. There's a really good guy on X that you should follow. He's called Football Talent Scout. His name is Jacek, Jacek. And he profiles a lot. Like, he's been doing this for years. This guy is like probably one of, if not the best, for like just looking up these younger players and getting the profiles and information. And he has his own website. It's footballtalentscout.net. And you can go in, you can just say, he literally lists out strengths and weaknesses. And the strengths he's listed out for Voltemade: technically efficient, skillful in tight spaces, effective ability to switch play out of pressure, capable of quickly getting shots off, extremely varied and flexible movement, ability to turn with possession under intense pressure, and a very unique physical profile in that, yes, he's big and he's tall, but he is technical. He isn't, no offense, Crouchy, if you're listening, he's not Peter Crouch. Peter Crouch is a great, very effective striker, but wasn't exactly known for having the most fantastic technique or ball playing ability, and particularly running. This guy does have that. Now, again, he has to go into the Premier League, and it's a very different league. This profile at times has worked in the Premier League. And for me, the last point I want to make in terms of why this could be a very good signing for us, he's not 19. He's 23. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of people might not have heard of him even, especially if you're not paying too much attention to European football. But we're not signing a kid here. He's still relatively raw in terms of, like, he's not playing 40 games a season and he's not already at a big club. It reminds me of somebody else we signed 3 years ago called Alexander Isak. This is where we need to be thinking. And as we said, we've full ability or full faith in Howe's ability to coach this guy into an elite striker. And we are paying probably over the odds. We're going to pay over the odds no matter who we sign in this window, because everyone knows, 1, we're desperate. 2, we're owned by the Saudis. And 3, if we do sell Isak, we're suddenly going to have a big bag of cash. So we're kind of up against it in that sense.
Just one other thing. Sorry.
Yeah. No.
Bayern Munich touted him as the replacement for Kane. Bayern Munich hoover up any sort of talent in Germany. Bayern Munich weren't in for Sesko.
They weren't. You're right. They weren't.
And they didn't get Wirtz, and now they're not getting Voltemade. So it's interesting that dynamic is changing. Krisho, you were going to say?
I was just going to say, I like we're going to factor this into a chant or a flag that he's the roided out Peter Crouch. It nearly rhymes. Nearly rhymes, all right? Nearly rhymes. But look, he had, when he was this 18, 19, 20-year-old, super odd physical profile, he got some great experience at Werder Bremen. He played a lot of games. He only scored 2 goals, got loaned out to Freiburg, did all right. He scored 10 goals in 20-odd games or 30 games. So that's when Stuttgart went, no, let's take a punt at him. So he kind of started at Werder Bremen. Stuttgart and Werder Bremen are very much around the same spot in Germany. But let's be honest, lads, he got 17 goals in all competitions last season. And he did really well in the European Championships, like we've said. And this is potential. But this is potential with goals to back it up. So this is, to be honest with you, lads, like we were saying at the top of the podcast, this is a beautiful day for Newcastle United. This is a wonderful number 9 that we've signed. And I think that with Eddie Howe's coaching, the team environment that he's going into, do we have, Chow is German. So we got another German coming in.
I was actually going to say, because before Malik Chow came in, we only had signed 2 German players for the first team in the past. Does anybody want to take a guess?
Didi Hamann
is one.
Yeah.
German,
hang on. No, there's one more.
Where did he play?
Newcastle. I actually did this on the pod with Stu Montgomery, lads, when the 2 effect off and left me on my own. I had to bring in a replacement for you, but I did the same with him. He did struggle with this one. This is a player who played for Newcastle within the last 5 years.
Last 5 years, well.
And he did play for the first team. And he did play in quite an important game for the first team.
Player we signed on loan got concussed in the Champions League final. Loris Karius.
Loris Karius is the second German we signed.
Malik
Chow being the third. Yeah, you would forget, I suppose. And it's not a particularly German name. Malik Chow was the third, and now Nick Voltemade is the fourth. And while we're talking about Germany, lads, just something to keep an eye on here. Germany as a nation, as an international side, haven't been blessed with number 9s or strikers of late. Kai Havertz has been their first choice striker over the last kind of 2-3 years. This guy has already got 2 caps for Germany in the last kind of year or so. And it looks like he's being kind of earmarked to be the striker for Germany. So this guy's stock is going up, and I can only expect and hope and pray that it goes up at Newcastle United as well. I doubt we'll see him against Leeds on Saturday because we won't have all the tweets and the video material done, as Alan correctly pointed out. But it's exciting, and we needed someone, whether this is an Isak replacement or a Wilson replacement. We've about 4 or 5 days to find out. Transfer window closes on Monday. So if you are listening to this, maybe something else has already happened. But at the time of recording, Thursday evening, 8:30, it looks like Newcastle are about to sign Nick Voltemade in what could be a big signing for the club.
An interesting one. I put up a poll before we went on. I said to the guys in the Irish Max group that I was going to talk about it on the podcast, but I just wrote who next? ? And I put in Wissa or Larsson, right? And it went very much Larsson very early on, nearly 70-30, 60-40. And then it swung immediately, I don't know, not immediately, sorry, but after about half an hour, 40 minutes, to very much Wissa. It's Wissa.
It makes sense that it would be Wissa. Yeah.
So that would suggest that this I'm going to call him Nick because I can't remember his second name. I'm going to just call him Nick, right? Nick's going to come in to replace Isak, and Wiss is going to come in to be the Wilson. No, yes,
it will be. It'll be interesting to see it if it goes down to the wire.
Like that,
yeah. I mean, if there is another player coming in, it's going to go down to the wire. Could be Wissa, and it could be a surprise. I do like the old surprises, though, and I'm sure everybody listening, if you haven't already, go out there and suss out some YouTube compilations of Nick Voltemade. I've already seen some commentary that he's quite similar to Berbatov as well, which, Berbatov wasn't the big physical presence, wasn't 6'5", but if he's any of that technical ability and that intelligence, it'll be interesting to see how he fits into Newcastle United's starting 11 if and when he gets there. Exciting times. Yes. Right, lads, we are coming towards the end of the podcast. Let's do a quick preview of Leeds before we talk about meetups, plural, because we have meetups coming up. I suppose just, Alan, really quickly, I want to hear your prediction for Leeds and tie it into how you think we're going to start, knowing that what we know that Anthony Gordon will not be available with the suspension, and then there's still question marks on Tonali, on Joe Linton, and maybe not Fabian Schär, but I'd be surprised if Fabian Schär isn't there.
I think we're not going to have Tonali. I think we're not going to have Joe Linton. Obviously, we're not going to have Gordon. We will have Schär. I think we're going to see a bit of a makeshift. It'll be Bruno, Ramsey, Willock in the midfield, or Bruno, Miley, Ramsey.
Yeah.
So listen, whoever we play, we should have enough to beat newly promoted Leeds. But it's their second home game, and they're up for it and all that jazz. But I'm going to go with a 2-0 Newcastle win, and I'm going to say that Anthony Elanga gets his first goal for Newcastle. Because he's going to play up front.
Just on that, who's the front three?
Elanga, Barnes. Actually, I'm going to change it. And Ramsey's going to play on the left. Elanga's going to play up top. And Willock is going to start in the midfield.
With Miley and with Bruno.
Yeah.
Interesting. So Alan is going for Bruno, Miley, Willock, Ramsey left, Barnes right, and Elanga top, or Elanga right and Barnes top?
Interchange between the both of them. It doesn't really matter. It'd be more Elanga up top, I think.
It's a fucking mess.
Oh, actually, Osuna scored. You never know. Yeah. He's not going to throw that much of a curveball, but it wouldn't be beyond the realms of possibility. But I don't see it.
Christian, do you think Osuna will start?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I think Eddie Howe will. He done so well when he came on against Liverpool. He got his goal, and Eddie's going to be thinking, well, hang on, we're not there yet with what we need for striking roles. Let's give this kid a shot. No, they might give him 70 minutes, 60 minutes, and then change it around, especially if we're winning. But give the young lad 60 minutes at least. See what he can do with Elanga and Barnes either side of him, and Ramsey helping out, kind of number 10 drifting, kind of, and centre midfield. As long as Longstaff, everybody, as we all know, has been getting absolutely milled by Leeds fans the last week and a bit. Absolutely milled, which is incredibly unfair. We'll have them back if you don't want them. But essentially, as long as Longstaff doesn't score, because that's all I bloody need in this life, is for Longstaff to score against us. But I'm with Al. I do think that Leeds will be up for it. It's a colossus of a ground. It seems like it's literally on fire half the time. So I've got an awful feeling that, look, it's a Saturday night game. Everyone will be half locked going into it from Leeds anyway. It's going to be a ferocious game. It's going to be 2-2. Ferocious game, and we're going to be winning most of the game, but Leeds are going to come back. Look, at everybody just be happy that we're talking about Leeds and a German striker that has potential, and we're not talking about Dominic Calvert-Lewin, because we all saw what he did for Brighton, or and for Leeds against Brighton. Was it against Brighton? He missed all those chances in the Carabao Cup. That performance was absolutely shocking, right? So Longstaff, hopefully he doesn't score, but Paul, 2-2, ferocious game, 2-2, Saturday night.
Interesting. I think that we will just put in a defensive fucking masterclass as we've done in the past. I think we'll come out of this with a 1-0. You can see Elanga getting on the score sheet, or even a Ramsey. I actually was quite impressed by Ramsey when he came on the last. He's just got very quick feet. He's very intelligent. I actually can see it being kind of like Murphy, Elanga, Barnes. Murphy right, Elanga up top, and Barnes on the left with a bit of that change. And I don't see Willock starting at all. I see Miley and Bruno and Ramsey. But you never know with Eddie Howe. Time will tell. Unless he tries to do the old back 3, back 5 and throws Malik Chow in beside the lads, you never know. Anything can happen.
Yeah, he might.
That shows you where we are at the moment. Things are a bit of a fucking mess. But in terms of the long-term things...
you said it again. That's 15. That's 15. That's 15. That's 15.
It's a good thing we're at the end of the show. Alan Williamson, before we drop off and go about our business, there are, I believe, on Saturday, when the game kicks off, 5:30 p.m. kickoff, as Krisha said, in Ellen Road. We're not going to have one. We're not going to have two. We are going to have 3 Irish Mags meetups. Are we not?
No, we're not, because you're wrong. We're going to have 4 Irish Mags meetups.
4 Irish Mags meetups.
4 Irish Mags meetups.
Better again.
So, these will all start from about 4:30 p.m. onwards, and I'm just going to rattle off the 4 bars. So, yeah, look, you can't even, he had it in front of him and he can't even read. So, we've the Bleecker Street Bar in Dublin, which is 68 Dorset Street. We have a new venue, which is Patrick's Bar in Ennis, County Clare. So V95 C856 is the air code of that if you want to arrive. We have our usual Quinlan's Bar in Blackpool, County Cork. T23DK60 if you wanted the air code for that. And we have a return in favour of the County Bar in Liberty Square, Thurles in Tipperary, which is E41C580. So as I said, from 4:30 p.m, come down and join in with all the Irish Magnus, because we're really, really looking forward to it. And we're going to have many, many, many new venues this season. So if you wanted to even set one up yourself, get in touch with one of us, any of us, and we'll do our best to get it sorted for you. But it's all going up from here.
Yes, it is.
It's all coming up, Millhouse. I have to shout out, if anyone didn't catch it, so we had Irish Mags on Today FM last week. I was on the Premier League show with Cathal Minogue, and he was talking, you probably listened to this, lads. He was talking about, he's from Cashel in Tipperary, and he was there Paddy's weekend, the weekend of the Carabao Cup final, in his local bar. And he was blown away when a bunch of black and white jerseys stroll in, because there was a meetup arranged, and it was one of our 8 meetups on the day, I believe, down in Cashel. So I was like, yes, that's what it's all about. And breaking the trend of all these fucking red jerseys and all these
there you
bars
go.
around the country.
That's 16. Right. So look, listen, what's it called? I just want to say, Paul, I think both myself, Alan, everybody else, your appearance on the Today FM was fantastic. You did really well. You spoke very
How are
well.
the lads?
Very well. Very good.
I did manage to accuse the guy. I did manage to accuse him of being a closet Newcastle fan. So I think I did all I needed to do.
Yeah. Exactly what we needed out of you.
Exactly. Yeah. And somehow, Chris, I managed not to swear for the entire 20 minutes.
Yeah, wow.
That's why I'm getting it all out of my system here in a safe place. Well, on that fucking bombshell, that brings episode 90 of the Irish Mag Show to a close. Big match at the weekend. Big things happening in the Newcastle United world. Meetups all around the place. Get yourselves down and check out all the Irish Mag socials below, along with the description. Check out the irishmags.com for all the latest updates. Get your pictures in if you are going to the games or going to any of the meetups. We will be back for more Irish Magnus next week. Thank you all for listening. Thank you, Krisho and Alan, for joining me. How are the lads? Slán go fóill. And we'll see you all very soon. Cheers, lads.
Slán a bhaile, lads.
Fuck off, Paul.
Fucking shit.